It's a movement.
LPR is still
the cowboy way.
We're just normal. You're not right-wingers, you're just regular people. You're every human being that came before you. You're not some fringe, extreme religious sect. You're just regular. You're the same as every person that won World War II, every pioneer.
Think about in 1776, when a small group of people had a profound idea that changed the world. And they went up against the biggest superpower in the world. And yet that idea prevailed.
When they wrote, "We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, among them are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness."
Please resist reducing the meaning to comfort, consumption, or an easy life. Know that the point is not that the government delivers us happiness, but that the government must not arbitrarily block honest citizens from striving for it.
We're in the pursuit of happiness business here. Analyzing, studying, trying to come to intellectual unity about what it means to be Americans. And if that leads us toward Democrats, so be it. If it leads us toward Republicans, so be it.
We walk you through all sorts of principled ideas instead of focusing on party or a person or a policy. We actually make ourselves think in principles. And it's a tough exercise, but we do it at every class.
Imagine thriving in exactly what you love, exactly what you're best at, what you uniquely bring to liberty. You'd be flourishing, you wouldn't be just existing, and society would be freer because of it.
Birds fly, that's their mode of living. Spiders spin webs, that's their mode of living. Human beings are free, and that is their mode of living. They ask questions, they discover things, they put their energies into building new and beautiful things and fighting against wrong and injustice and evil, and that is what flourishing is.
I was thinking about this in the context of if any other countries that are superpowers have this pursuit of happiness, and I'll tell you, Russia doesn't have it in any of their governing documents. And neither does China. And so I think one of the beautiful parts about being in America is that we can believe that every day in the future can be a little bit better than the day that we have right now, even though it might be a struggle, even though it might not be fun. And so I think that having that pursuit of happiness as a core tenet to what we're doing makes it so that we believe that we can continue moving forward in a way that's better.
What the Magna Carta says is, I, the king, have all of the freedoms here in my hand, and I'm going to parcel them out as I see fit. The American declarations, they say the opposite. They say we, the people, have all of our power and our freedom, and we will give to the government the powers that we choose. Complete transformation from the idea of the Magna Carta.
Thomas Jefferson has famously said, "Were it left to me to decide whether we should have a government without newspapers or newspapers without a government, I should not hesitate a moment to prefer the latter." The second sentence people don't remember as much. But I should mean that every man should receive those papers and be capable of reading them. And I wish we were a better formed, more engaged citizenry.
And this isn't just a problem for our young people. This is for many of us. Many of us don't know the foundational documents. Many of us don't know the foundational principles. And that hurts our ability to hold government accountable and to realize our own power. However, I have reason for hope. Liberty and happiness require proud, purposeful, hopeful efforts towards a collective American future. We also need to welcome the competition of ideas and recognize that we can learn from each other instead of thinking that we just need to crush each other.
So long as every issue is made a national issue that we, the American people, have to resolve, we are going to be at each other's throats constantly. Our only hope, and I truly believe this, is a federalist system. There can be 50 policy answers. And if we would embrace this principle of federalism, which is found in the Declaration of Independence, just maybe we can all get along, we can govern ourselves in our individual states as our different cultures, predilections, climates, etc., allow for, we can live together in peace.
For the United States, the center of gravity is our economy. It's an economy that is a direct expression of our values and ideals. American strength is not in the lethality of our weapons, as impressive as that is, but in the power of our ideas and the power of freedom that makes it all possible.
The founders recognized immediately the perfect economic theory to be the companion of their political theory. They realized that you could not truly be free unless you were economically free, unless you could control your own future. You could pursue your own independence. And so they embraced capitalism, and it was the combination of that economic theory and that political theory that produced who we are today.
Well, of course, the pursuit of happiness means the productive use of your skills and energies to provide for yourself and your family.
So basically, our poverty problem in America is a government-created problem because the middle class is shrinking because people are moving up. And some people are not moving up. And so the gap between them is growing. And so therefore there's this new tension. Well, if everybody is getting better off, but some people are getting more better off, how are we worse off?
Politics is downstream from culture. Downstream from culture. If we're constantly telling our young people, you live in a society, in a country that hates you. If you're white, you're a villain. If you're black, you're a victim. Well, maybe these kids are accepting that message, and so that message has to stop. We must become post-racial. We don't have a race problem, we have a grace problem. And so therefore, but we must provide evidence. We must provide evidence to people that the love of God, love of country, and love of neighbor is the foundation on which blacks in the past have achieved. We are the only nation where someone could be born a slave and die a millionaire. Well, we need to teach our children that that slavery did not, or our birth defect did not define who we are. We should be defined by our aspiration.
It's authenticity and it's absolute humanity. And our lunch speaker, Will Kane, has them both.
Aspiration, movement, an unfinished climb that outlives the climbers. You don't define the climber by his mistake. You don't define the mountain by its cracks. You define that mountain by its ascent. You don't define a country by its missteps, by its mistakes. You define it by its direction. I think that's our story. There are no unimportant roles in this project. The father sitting at the dinner table tonight matters every bit as much as the tech titan billionaire. The city council member in this room matters just as much as the senator. The small business owner matters just as much as the television personality. The rancher matters just as much as the CEO. You don't have to be famous to be foundational. Leadership is not a title. It sure isn't a blue check mark. It isn't a microphone. It isn't a summit. Leadership is living. It is working your code in your role.
LPR has been my launching pad. It creates stewards, people who step forward when it's uncomfortable, speak clearly when it's costly, and act locally because that's where leadership actually counts.
As the rescue mission right here in Colorado Springs CEO, I was able to influence decision makers to reframe how they thought about the homeless.
In my day-to-day work as a county commissioner, I prioritize limited government where capitalism and free markets can thrive.
LPR helped me to fine-tune my understanding of our heritage to be an even more effective storyteller. That's why my wife Deborah and I formed our production company, and why our goal back home here in Colorado continues to be impacting culture for good by creating projects that inspire while entertaining.
This year, I am retiring from Denver Public Schools, and I'm opening a private school to restore America's heritage by developing servant leaders who are keepers and defenders of our freedoms that our founding fathers pledged their lives, fortunes, and sacred honor.
LPR connected me with an extraordinary network of leaders across Colorado. I can draw on business leaders, educators, public officials, and citizens who share a commitment to keeping our communities strong, free, and safe.
Y'all are super spreaders. Wait till the media gets a hold of that. LPR had a super spreader event. If we had LPRs all around the country and super spreaders like yourselves that were out educating and helping people understand the principles, these timeless principles, we wouldn't have folks in Washington making haphazard decisions. We know what Ben Franklin said, a republic if we can keep it. That is why when you leave here, you don't say, hey, that was a nice retreat, the Broadmoor is beautiful, and it is. But you actually go and do something. And it doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be big, but it has to be something that moves the needle.
I'm asking you, as a member of the Army for Freedom, to be a happy warrior. Be a happy warrior. Don't be a cynical warrior. And radiate hope, because hope attracts others, and we need more people as part of the Army for Freedom.
If you're ready for the challenge, come join us. Join the Army for Freedom. For we are many, united by the love of our country and the solemn duty to defend freedom.